All right. This next topic is something that I've been thinking about lately. Um, and it kind of relates to my last video about um, Darth Vader being brainwashed and stuff against his choice, pretty much. Um, and the topic is like the family cult. Um, every narcissist creates a family cult. From what I've heard, and I know it's true in my family of origin. Um, Despite how they treat the scapegoat, you know, they still want that scapegoat to be obedient to the cult, the family cult, and to comply with the family cult, despite being treated like crap, despite being, being gossiped about, being made fun of. They still demand the scapegoat to be involved in the family cult. And so, what I've been trying to figure out is like how to deprogram the family cult out of my mind. You know what I mean? Like that allegiance, that blind allegiance, uh, that they demanded of me. No matter what, putting aside anything I wanted, um, anything I desired to do in life for the family cult. You know what I mean? Uh, how does my mind overcome all that? You know what I mean? It's been my struggle lately. It's just because I was for most of my life, I complied. I went along with it. I did as they said. You know what I mean? I did all that. I was loyal to the family cult. And to my detriment, for sure. Um, Putting aside everything that I am naturally for this made up cult. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Giving up your natural personality for this fake world. You know what I mean? That they want you to comply in, and uh, that kind of thing. Um, so I guess what I'm saying is like, how do you deprogram all that? I'm sure it's a long process. To refocus your brain to like things that are outside of the family cult, that was all you knew, um, seeing the bigger picture of the world, of reality, versus the small fake world of theirs. Um, I think that's part of it, like that slow transition to the real world, because they're not in the real world ever, ever. They're never in the real world ever. Um, Not even for a second. They are continually in fantasy land, 24/7. That's not a joke. And even if you're in trying to be in reality a little bit, they're never in reality a little bit. So um, you gotta understand that is like that fantasy world, or the fantasy is ongoing with them. It's never ending. It's 24/7 fantasy um, going on. So when you separate from that, your brain goes through a transition of from the fantasy world that they tried to involve you in, the family cult fantasy world, and then you're trying to transition into the actual world, the actual real world. And I think I'm like right in the middle of that transition of like uh, being in the real actual world. You know what I mean? And it is kind of scary. I have to admit that, to be, um, mostly in the real world, um, rather than their fake fantasy world. Um, there was kind of a fake kind of comfort, I guess, to being in something that was familiar, even if it was fake, even if the world was fake. You had some comfort with it because it's what you know what I mean? It's what you were brought up in. But I don't know. It's something that can be overcome, I think, with time, um, as you are more in reality, uh, more than in fantasy. Um, but anyways, it's just something that I'm dealing with now. It's just like overcoming that, like, uh, allegiance to the family cult, blind allegiance, no matter how corrupt it was, no matter how fake it was, just that blind allegiance that they demanded of me, despite how they treated me, despite how they saw me. uh, they still demanded that allegiance, you know what I mean? So I have to overcome that, that that blind allegiance to a fake world, basically, a fake family cult, and just get um, into a more healthy reality, um, and my brain will get used to it, with time, and eventually I will feel like I'm in reality mostly throughout the day, um, even if my brain's not used to it. It will get used to it eventually, I feel, um, as time goes. So, anyways, that's kind of what I'm getting at. I think every uh, scapegoat child has has dealt with this. They're born into this family cult, and they're treated like crap, but they're still expected to be obedient and comply, and be allegiant with the family cult, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? To be involved with the family cult, no matter what. Just this blind allegiance to corruption, basically, a dysfunctional system, dysfunctional people. Just that blind allegiance that they expect and demand of you, despite treating you like crap, or despite treating you like shit, like they do. You know, they still demand you be obedient to the family cult. So I think that's what I'm trying to overcome mentally. Is just overcoming that allegiance to the fake world, their fake family cult. Getting the family cult out of my head. Um, until it's just me and my thoughts separate. Which is the way it should be, um, as a separate entity, individual, than that fake world of theirs. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's kind of just the process I'm in right now. I think it's just that transition from their fake world, um, that that I grew up in, to more of the real world. That I'm not very used to. So that I'm trying to get used to. So, um, anyways, that's all I've been. Uh, that's all that's been on my mind lately. It's just been a struggle for my mind. Uh, to be outside of what it's known. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure other uh, scapegoats have dealt with this, as transition out, they transition out of the family cult. because I do think um, all scapegoats eventually break off from the family, um, to preserve themselves, to save their life, um, pretty much. Or sometimes the scapegoat doesn't make it, either or, there's no real happy ending uh, for the scapegoat to stay in the family cult. There's not a happy ending for that. You either have to break off permanently, or they kill you, basically, or they get you to end your own life, and that's a real reality. Because they pushed me to that point a few times, so it's a real reality, that it can cost you your life if you stay in the family cult for too long. So, anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Pretty much is just that um, my mind adjusting through the outside of their family cult of that I started in, basically. I don't know. So it is a transition for sure. It's kind of a it's kind of rough for the mind, um, to be part of the real world that it's never really known. You know what I mean? Uh, if that makes sense. So scared of the unknown type of thing, but I'm sure it gets easier with time. You know, as you keep pushing forward. Um, so, anyways, that's all I want to say for this video.